Hello all. So imagine this situation. You spend one entire month creating a digital marketing campaign. You design creatives, you run advertisements, you create social media posts, you optimize SEO, you collaborate with influencers, you analyze audience behavior. Finally, the campaign ends. Now your manager asks you just one question. So, what exactly did we achieve? Hello everyone and welcome to this comprehensive masterclass. Whether you are watching this as part of your core academic curriculum, preparing for your final campaign submissions, or looking to bridge the gap in between classroom theory and real world executive boardrooms, you are in the exact right place. Today, we are spending an intensive hour together looking at the complete life cycle of a modern digital marketing campaign. We are not just going to look backward at what we have already built, we are also going to look drastically forward to the horizon of our industry. So, at that moment, technical knowledge is not enough. You must present confidently, explain strategy clearly, defend decisions logically, analyze data professionally, and recommend future improvements. This is exactly why this chapter is extremely important because digital marketing professionals are not only campaign creators but they are also analysts, presenters, strategists, communicators, and innovators. And beyond these campaign reviews, the future of marketing itself is changing rapidly. So artificial intelligence is automating campaigns, voice assistants are changing SEOs, AR and VR are changing customer experiences, automation is changing customer targeting. So the marketer of the future must combine creativity, analytics, communication, and technology. So throughout this session, I want you to think not like students, but like future digital marketing professionals. So let us begin. So our session today, it splits beautifully into two parts. First, we are going to master the live campaign review. This is the art and science of standing in front of clients, managers, or your peers, presenting data with absolute confidence and using objective frameworks to grade the performance. Secondly, we will shift into the micro environment to analyze the future trends that are actively disrupting our field: artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, and the massive migration towards voice search optimization. So, by the time you finish watching this full session, you'll not just be a marketer who knows how to click buttons on an ad dashboard, you will be a strategic consultant capable of reading data patterns, delivering high impact constructive critiques, and embedding predictive AI workflows into standard business models. So this chapter focuses on two dimensions. These are major dimensions. First dimension, campaign review presentation. Second is future trends in digital marketing. Now, many students, they think that marketing ends once advertisements are published, but in reality, the actual professional process, it starts after campaign execution. Now, but obviously in your mind, you have one question. The question is why? Because businesses, they want answers. They want to know what questions are there in their mind. Did the campaign work? Was money spent efficiently? Which platform performed the best? Which audience converted the most? And what should we improve next time? So that is why campaign review meetings are extremely important in companies. Agencies, they conduct review meetings with clients. Marketing teams conduct review meetings with management. Performance teams conduct review meetings with stakeholders. So presentation and analytical skills both become critical. Simultaneously, digital marketing ecosystem itself is evolving. So today, if we observe, AI is writing content, ChatGPT is assisting us in copywriting, Meta ads are optimizing the Meta ads optimize targeting automatically. Netflix, it personalizes recommendations. Amazon predicts purchases. Voice assistants influence search, and AR allows virtual product trials. What it means? It means that digital marketers must continuously evolve. So the future marketer is not only creative, the future marketer is adaptive. So before we go to the next slide, let's get a pulse in this room. Just think, what is the single biggest challenge you face when presenting campaign data to the stakeholders or clients? Is it data overload? Is it proving ROI? Or is it keeping their attention? A food for your thought. So, before going to the next slide, I want you to think on this and you need to understand. Then only we'll understand the further part of our discussion. So now next comes the learning objectives, what all we are going to do in this specific chapter. First objective is to review and present. So the first objective is learning how to present the live campaign results confidently and clearly. Now presentation skills, they are underestimated by the students, but please try to understand in your professional life, presentation ability directly influences your career growth. Two marketers, just one example, two marketers may have equal technical knowledge, but the marketer who communicates better usually grows faster professionally. Again, the question why? Because businesses they value clarity. Now, a marketer must explain the campaign purpose, he must target the customers, he must talk about the budget allocation, ROI, and his future strategy. And all of this must be explained in a structured manner and a persuasive manner. Just take one example. Imagine presenting campaign performance to a CEO or to a startup founder or a client who is investing lakhs of rupees. Now, if your explanation is going to lack structure, confidence reduces immediately. So that is why professional marketers they heavily focus on storytelling, visualization, analytics interpretation, and the presentation flow. So our first milestone is mastering the data driven narrative. It is one thing to look at a dashboard which is full of numbers. It is an entirely different skill to present those live campaign results with confidence, clarity, and a compelling storyline to individuals who might not understand technical marketing jargons. Now comes the second objective, which you can see on your screen is the feedback. So second objective is feedback. Now feedback, it is not criticism. Please don't mix these two terminologies. Why? Because many times whenever we say that we want a feedback, it means that we want criticism. It is not so. So feedback is not criticism. Professional feedback, it means helping improve performance constructively. Now, as we have said that digital marketing is collaborative. So your campaign is usually going to involve graphic designers, it is going to involve content writers, ad managers, your SEO specialists, your video editors, influencers, data analysts. So communication quality, it is going to affect your campaign success. Good feedback improves campaigns. Poor feedback, it damages the teamwork. So just take one example that this campaign is boring. It is a bad feedback. But if you want to give a professional feedback, you can say that the visuals are clean, but adding stronger emotional storytelling may improve audience engagement. Are you noticing the difference? From this example, we understand that professional communication is specific, it is respectful, it is actionable, and it is objective. So this is the difference in a bad feedback and a professional feedback. Then comes your third objective, which talks about assess. Now, assessment is the third objective where we say that marketing without assessment is a guesswork. If you don't assess, then it is a guess which you are taking. So take one example. If your campaign gets 1 million impressions, but the sales are only 5, whether this will be useful, can we call that it is a successful assessment or successful marketing which you are doing? Maybe not. Why? Because impressions alone, they are vanity metrics. Businesses, they ultimately care about leads, sales, conversions, retention, profitability, and customer acquisition costs. So many a times you must have observed this that whenever there is some kind of pitch, in that pitch, the question which is asked is what is the number of repeat orders or what is the percentage of repeat orders. So ultimately businesses they care about sales, leads, conversions, retention, profitability, and the customer acquisition cost. But obviously marketers must know which KPIs matter, how to interpret the data, and how to evaluate campaign effectiveness. So a professional marketer, he thinks analytically. Now comes the fourth objective. Fourth objective is anticipating the future trends. Now this is very, very, very important objective because you need to anticipate, you need to understand about the future trends. So perhaps I'll definitely say that this is the most exciting part of the entire chapter, where we are trying to understand that technology is transforming the digital marketing rapidly. The marketers who adapt early gain, they have competitive advantage. So today if we see, AI is generating ad copies, AI is predicting customer behavior, AR enables virtual shopping, voice assistants, they influence the search patterns, automation optimizes bidding strategies. So 5 years ago, if we try to understand, these were all the emerging technologies. But today, they are the mainstream business tools. So future marketers, therefore, they must continuously learn. This is again very, very, very important. Now moving to how to prepare a live campaign presentation. Okay, so this slide is definitely going to explain you how professional campaign presentations are structured. Good campaign presentation, it is not random. It follows a logical business storytelling sequence. Now think of it like telling the story of your campaign journey. Okay, you're going to tell the story of your campaign journey. So when you walk into a boardroom to deliver a live campaign presentation, you are essentially simulating a high-stake corporate review meeting where you have executive managers, you have external clients, you have CMOs. So if your structure is messy, you lose credibility instantly. So we are going to break this down into four-step framework for clear presentation delivery. So first step. What is the first step? It is objective and background. So always begin with your objectives. We should never ever jump directly to the results. Many times you must have observed that people directly jump to results. You should never do this. You should always begin with the objectives, because without understanding the objectives, results they lose meaning. So just to take one example, if a campaign objective was awareness, okay, then impressions and reach they become important. But if the objective was sales, then your conversion and ROI is going to matter more. So campaign success, it depends upon your original goals. So we should always explain the brand background, we should explain the business problem, we should explain target audience and the campaign purpose. So again, one example, if a client is a student snack shop near a university campus, business it faced low weekday footfall. Now the campaign objective was increasing student engagement and the store visit. Now the audience is going to understand the context immediately. So we should define SMART goals. What are SMART goals? SMART, it means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So these are SMART goals. So if we say increase Instagram followers by 20% within 30 days, it sounds professional. It is measurable that we are saying that we want to increase Instagram followers by 20% within next 30 days. So we should state our campaign goals clearly. Volume hunting for top of the funnel, that is brand awareness. Middle of the funnel, that is lead generation, or bottom of the funnel, that is direct e-commerce sales. So if your audience doesn't know what you are trying to achieve, they cannot judge if your results are good or bad. So never ever jump directly to the results. Then comes the second step, second part, that is strategy and channels. Now we should explain the strategy. Now in this specific part, if we see, marketers are going to demonstrate the thinking ability. Okay, so if we just say we used Instagram, you should explain why. So now just simply saying we use Instagram is not helpful. But if we try to say this in a different manner, like Instagram was selected because our audience consisted primarily of the college students who are in the age group of 18 to 24, who actively engage with visual short form content. Now, this sounds strategic. Just see the example. By using this, we used Instagram and having this specific statement that why we chose Instagram because of the age group and because they engage with the visual short form content. So that is how it is going to work. So we should always discuss the audience segmentation. We should discuss about the platform selection, the content mix, paid versus organic strategy, what are the influencer collaborations, hosting schedules, CTA strategy. So we should explain the customer psychology. Again, one example, limited time offers were used to trigger urgency. Or we are using humor based reels, we created humor based reels to increase the shareability among the Gen Z users. So, more strategic reasoning you explain, stronger your presentation becomes. Then comes the next step, that is execution samples. So, this section it adds the practical credibility. So, we are going to show the real campaign material, possible examples in which we can say we can have Instagram reels, we can have YouTube ads, email templates, landing pages, influencer content, or hashtag campaigns. So we not only merely show the visuals, but we explain the strategic thinking behind the visuals. Just to take an example, bright yellow, red colors used because food brands often use warm colors to stimulate appetite and excitement, or short captions were intentionally used because attention span on social media is extremely low. We all are observing this, that we don't have now patience, or we don't have that much of span. We continuously scroll it. So captions were intentionally used. Why? Because the attention span on social media is extremely low. So this demands the marketing intelligence. Okay. Then comes the next part or next step, which talks about results and learning. So this is the most critical section. This is where data becomes your storytelling. So if we just dump numbers, whether it is useful, answer is no. So we should not dump numbers mechanically, we should interpret them. Example, instead of saying engagement increased by 35%, what we are going to say, the significant increase in engagement suggests that our audience responded positively to humor based short form content. See the example, just saying engagement increased by 35% and saying the significant increase in engagement suggests that our audience responded positively to humor based short form content. So we are analyzing behavior. Okay, so we should discuss impressions, we should discuss reach, we should discuss CTR, we should discuss the conversion rate, we should discuss the engagement, ROI, CPA, and we should discuss retention. Coming to one step ahead, also we should discuss the failures honestly. See, honesty is the best policy, so we should always discuss the failures honestly. Professional marketers, they openly discuss about what failed, why it failed, and what can improve. Now there will be a question in your mind that, ma'am, why are you saying this? People are not here to show their failures, they are just going to show their success. But showing your failure in a professional manner is going to build trust and it is going to show your professionalism. So, but obviously, once the campaigns are presented, feedback it becomes essential, and this brings us to the next important concept, which talks about constructive feedback. Now, feedback, but obviously in professional marketing environment, feedback it is constant. How constant? Because managers are also going to give feedback, clients are also going to give feedback, teams are also going to give feedback, and consumers they give feedback through the engagement behavior. So we need to learn how to handle feedback professionally, which is extremely important part in the success. Now, first and foremost, we should be specific. Vague feedback has very, very, very little value. If I just give a feedback, good campaign, what exactly was good? Good campaign is not giving me a detailed version. I am unable to understand what was good in this. So if I say that the influencer collaboration strategy aligned effectively with the Gen Z audience behavior, this is a specific feedback. Now this specific feedback is going to create improvement. So having a vague feedback is not useful. We should be very, very specific whenever we are giving or having feedback. Then comes balancing your points. So professional feedback, it balances strengths and improvement. See, we are not only giving the positive side, we are not only giving the negative side. What we are giving? We are giving both. So useful structure is appreciation first and suggestion second. First, always should come your appreciation, and only then comes the suggestion. Just to take one example, the visuals were highly engaging. Here comes the appreciation. However, adding clearer CTA buttons may improve conversion rates. Here comes the suggestion. So first we are giving the appreciation, we are giving the suggestion second. So visuals were highly engaging. However, adding clearer CTA buttons may improve conversion rates. This keeps the conversation constructive. Then comes using data. Now, data backed feedback is more objective. See, you're supporting it. So instead of saying, I think people liked it, if we say the campaign generated above average engagement rates, suggesting strong audience resonance. See, data improves credibility. I think people liked it is again a vague one. But this campaign generated above average engagement rate. So whatever we expected, it was above average, suggesting strong audience resonance. So this is creating credibility. Or we can take one example that if we think that the font is too small and if we say it looks tiny, whether this is appropriate? No, but if we say our mobile readability index indicates this font size will increase bounce rates for users on devices. See, try to understand giving it in a very, very specific manner or giving it with using data is always useful. So this is how we need to use the data because data backed feedback, it is always more and more objective. Now, while giving feedback, we should always be respectful. See, focus on work, but not on personality. We should never attack individuals. So, professional environments, they value emotional intelligence. Respectful communication, it improves teamwork and the workplace culture. So, this is the golden rule which we are going to keep in mind. Now, moving to the next part, which talks about campaign assessment criteria. Now, whether you are a manager who is assessing an agency, client who is signing off on a project, or an academic evaluator who is reviewing a defense, a fair assessment, it must evaluate both the invisible planning process and the visible final results alongside the presentation efficacy. So we should now understand the 6 pillars of our evaluation rubric. So 6 distinct pillars. Okay. Now, first we are going to understand whether the goals explicitly stated as SMART metrics, which is discussed about SMART, or are they vague concepts like get more exposure? If objectives are unclear, campaign evaluation, it becomes impossible. So you should always ask what exactly was success supposed to look like? Okay, so strategy and integration. Integrated marketing, what it means? It means all channels work together consistently. Okay, example, Instagram creates awareness, websites capture leads, email nurtures customers, retargeting ads drive conversions. So this is an integrated customer journey design. Why integrated? Because all channels are working together consistently. Okay, then comes the creativity. So creativity is essential. Why? Because digital users, they are overloaded with content. We are overloaded with content and we need some kind of creativity. So creativity is essential, but this creativity must support your business goals. Now, creative content, it should attract attention, it should create emotional connection, and it should encourage action. See what I'm saying? Your creative content should attract attention, it should create emotional connection, and it should encourage action. That is must. So here we need to understand that how creativity is essential and what it should do. Then comes the data analysis. Now, if you see the modern marketers, they must understand analytics deeply. Businesses, they make decisions using the data. So important KPIs, they include your CTR, CPC, conversion rate, customer acquisition cost, ROI, retention rate. So analytics, they convert marketing from opinion into a measurable science. Then we need presentation skills. So communication influences perception. What are the strong perceptions? We should always maintain a eye contact. We should explain confidently. We should control pacing. We should use visual storytelling, and we should simplify all the complex ideas. So these are the presentation skills which are required. Then reflection and improvement. So the best marketers, they continuously improve. So every campaign becomes a learning opportunity for them, and this mindset creates a long-term professional growth. See, we are looking for a long-term growth, not for a short-term growth. So this is a long-term professional growth which is going to get created. So these were the six pillars, is what we can say. Six pillars which helped us to understand various things. What were these pillars? So we started with strategy, integration, creativity, data analysis, presentation skills, reflection, and improvement. Now we are moving to the next part, which talks about AI. It is reshaping the digital marketing. So artificial intelligence, it is completely reshaping digital marketing. Why? Because earlier the marketing decisions, they relied heavily on manual analysis. But today, if you observe, AI can process millions of customer interactions, that too instantly. So this is transition into future trends. Artificial intelligence, it is no longer a forward-looking concept or a gimmick for writing short captions. It has officially become the operational engine driving today's most profitable, high performing digital marketing campaigns. So, if our workflow is not integrated with the AI systems, we are working at a massive competitive disadvantage. Okay. Now there should be personalization at scale. So historically, what happened? Marketers, they created three or four buyer personas and they broadcasted broad messages to them, but AI has shattered that limitation. Today, machine learning models, they process massive data streams in a real time to deliver completely individualized content, dynamic pricing models, and specific product recommendation to millions of unique users simultaneously. So when we open Netflix or Amazon, our homepage looks entirely different from others. So that is hyper personalization at scale, is what we can definitely say. So why this is happening? Because consumers, they expect personalized experiences. When Netflix is recommending us movies, when Amazon is suggesting us the products, when Spotify is creating playlists for us, this is what is AI driven personalization. So how AI does this? So AI is going to study your browsing behavior. It is going to study your purchase history. It is going to study the engagement pattern. Then it is going to study the watch time, and it is going to study the preferences. So this increases customer satisfaction and the conversions. Then comes the predictive analytics. Now, predictive analytics, if you see the modern marketing, it has moved from reactive to proactive. Okay, reactive to proactive. So by analyzing micro signals like mouse hover times or scroll depth and historical content consumption patterns, AI models, they can flag precisely when a customer is entering a high propensity buying window, allowing us to serve the right ad at the exact millisecond of the highest intent. So predictive analytics, it allows marketers to forecast the future behavior. So AI can predict your purchase probability, churn risk, audience interest, and conversion likelihood. So this allows businesses to take proactive action. Then comes the campaign automation. So AI, it now automates bidding, targeting, A/B testing, audience optimization, budget allocation. So this improves efficiency enormously. However, human creativity still matters deeply. AI, it supports strategy. It does not replace human being. It cannot. So we should always be very, very careful whenever we are working. And now comes the next part, which talks about your AR, VR immersive brand experiences. So, one of the oldest challenges in e commerce history is the tactile gap, the hesitation a customer feels because they cannot physically touch, feel, or try a product before buying it. Many a times you must have heard this, that why we don't prefer this, because we cannot touch it, we cannot feel it. So augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, they are completely changing this dynamic by bridging this gap between the digital discovery and the physical experience. So this special computing shift has proven to drastically reduce purchase hesitation and skyrocket the conversion rates. So AR and VR, they are transforming digital experiences into immersive experiences. Consumers increasingly want interaction before they purchase. See, the more and more interaction, more and more the rate of purchase is going to happen. So AR, it allows virtual try-ons. Just to take examples, there are makeup filters, there are furniture placement previews, there are virtual glasses fitting. So AR superimposes digital assets onto the user's real world physical environment. Look at these retail giants around us. So beauty brands, they let you test makeup shades directly on your face via your smartphone camera. Fashion labels use virtual fitting rooms. Furniture companies allows you to place a 3D rendering of a sofa directly into your living room to check scale and color match before you order it. So it turns a passive view into an active contextual try on. So this reduces uncertainty. Okay. But on the flip side, VR creates immersive environment. Example, virtual real estate tours, gaming experiences, luxury showrooms. So VR completely replaces the user's physical environment with a fully digital immersive world. So we are seeing forward thinking automotive and luxury real estate brands which are building high fidelity interactive showrooms. Customers, they can customize a luxury vehicle. They can sit inside the digital cabin. They can explore every feature or take a complete walkthrough of an unbuilt architectural property from across the globe. So the future of marketing is experiential, is what we can definitely say. Then comes the voice search and the future of SEO. So just think about how you interact with the technology daily. Smart personal assistants like your Alexa, your Google Assistant, your Apple Siri, they've completely altered how human beings look for information. Why? Because the user interface has shifted from a physical keyboard to the human voice. Digital marketers are being forced to completely rewrite their search engine optimization strategies from the ground up. So, voice search is changing SEO strategy fundamentally. People speak differently than they type. Just to take example, if it is a typed search, we are typing best cafe in Mumbai. Okay, but if it is a voice search, we are asking which cafe near me has the best coffee. See the difference, typed search versus voice search. So SEO must become conversational is the requirement. Brands, they must optimize FAQs, they must have long tail keywords, local SEO, mobile first content, and featured snippets. So from fragmented keywords to conversational queries, when typing on a desktop, user might use short keywords like organic coffee in Mumbai, but when using a voice search, they use full natural sentence structures. Where can I buy organic coffee near me right now? So your SEO strategy can no longer rely on stuffing robotic keyword strings. Your content must be optimized for natural language patterns and long tail question based search strings. Then comes from short snippets to feature domination and position zero. So in traditional desktop search, user looks at a search engine results page. He chooses from the top 10 links. But with voice search, we don't have any 10 links. So smart speaker reads back exactly one definitive answer. That single answer is pulled directly from what we call position zero. So the featured snippet that sits above the traditional ranking, if your content is not structured to win position zero, your brand becomes completely invisible in a voice first ecosystem. And then comes the absolute prioritization of hyper local SEO. So voice searches, they are deeply transactional, immediate and local. So they are highly intent driven queries spoken by users on the move. This makes bulletproof Google Business Profile optimization, localized schema markup, and real time location data management absolutely mission critical for brick and mortar survival. Okay, then comes one practice project. Now, as we bring this presentation to a close, we are not closing it, I'm just bringing it to a close. Let's talk about how we integrate every single concept we discussed today. So we discussed various concepts. Now we are going to integrate it. So to master this material, we have to apply it through some hands-on practice. You are required to present a 5-minute campaign breakdown, exchange structured peer critics, and you should complete analytical evaluation rubrics. So this exercise, it combines everything: your presentation, your analytics, your feedback, your assessment, and strategic thinking. This simulates real marketing environment. So this is a homework for you. You are going to prepare a presentation, not a presentation, but we can say a very good campaign breakdown. And but obviously, this exercise should include everything. Now moving to some practical parts. So we are going to visit few websites and we are going to try to understand that how it works. Now these are Facebook ads. You can see I've just searched for upgrade. Now here you can see what kind of ads they have given and specifically on which platforms are these ads running. Okay, just go through it. You'll understand. See, specifically they are talking about various platforms. So we discussed this. We are going to decide a platform according to the requirement. So here you can see few ads are on Facebook, on Instagram, few are only on Instagram. So this is how it works. So this is about upgrade. We can search one more to understand. If we take Zomato, okay, you all know how Zomato ad they work. So Zomato, if we see now here, you can see there are various ads which are live. They are giving us all the analysis. These are the ads and the analysis on which platforms it is currently working, on which date it was started. So this is how you can go through various ads. Then we have next practical, you can say practical exposure, where we are trying to analyze this. This is a search, listening, and keyword research tool. Answer the Public. So it aggregates autocomplete data from search engines like Google, Bing, and it visualizes the exact questions, prepositions, and comparisons people search for around a specific topic. This is Answer the Public. Then we have Google Threads. So here you can see these are threads which are going to show us the analysis. Now, for example, what to search specifically, Google Trends. Which trend you want to search? It is giving us various examples. Okay, so in this specifically, if we are trying to analyze that which trend we want to search, here you can have any specific trend which you are going to search. Let us see, I'll search digital marketing only. So digital marketing, and here the trends will be displayed. Let us see what trends we can see in digital marketing. Okay, it is just opening the page. See how it is giving us various trends by sub-region. Then it is talking about various topics, related queries. So this is how your Google Trends. It is again a very, very useful tool. Think with Google, gain insights, ideas, inspiration. So if you want to take your marketing further with Google, you can think with Google. where specifically you're going to get various analysis, which analysis they are giving. Just see and you'll understand. See, these are various marketing strategies, there are innovations, right? So I'm trying to give you just an example from where you'll understand how it works and how specifically we are going to understand practically. Okay, now all these is homework. You can search, you can have AI reports, you can have consumer behavior, you can search trends with Think with Google, or you can also have future insights. Now, why this is good? Because it looks highly professional in recordings. So that is Think with Google. So this is how specifically we have various websites is what you can say, various platforms which you can say, which are really very helpful because that is how it is going to work. So we have gone through these four specific websites. Okay. Now I hope that you have understood specifically what I wanted to explain from these specific slides, you can say, or the topic which we had today for discussion. So from this, as we conclude, we should remember a few things that practice is going to make us professional. Live campaign reviews, they are the bridge which is going to connect the abstract classroom theory to the real world marketing survival. Now they build analytical thinking, there are rapid communication skills, there are collaborative teamwork which is required in elite corporate environments. Then comes your feedback, which fuels growth. So we should check our ego at the door itself, treating structured data-backed feedback as an asset rather than an attack builds a resilient growth mindset that will accelerate our career progression. Now the future is already here. AI optimization, immersive AR/VR workflows, and conversational voice SEO, they are actively rewriting the rules of engagement. So the marketers who refuse to adapt will become obsolete. Adaptive, technology driven professionals will lead the entire industry. We always say that if you're not updated, you become outdated. And we have multiple examples which have explained us that how the technology changed, but the organizations they didn't change themselves, and what have happened with them. We are observing that now, but obviously we should be assessment ready. We should never guess. We should use precise KPIs. We should have clear evaluation rubrics and continuous self-reflection as our compass for long-term career readiness is going to be created. Now, digital marketing is no longer just about posting content, but it is about strategy, communication, analytics, adaptability, and innovation. So the future marketer must continuously evolve with the technology. Now the marketers who combine creativity with data intelligence, they will lead the future. So I hope this session helped you understand both the practical and the future dimensions of digital marketing. I thank everyone who attended this session, who got benefited from this. I hope there was some kind of value addition after this specific session. Thank you so much. All the best.